Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. In medieval cathedrals, there was lots of stone. The floors, walls, and more were all made of stone, and in those large hallways, the words of the priests would echo and reverberate. What's more, the priests were speaking in Latin, which most likely the common person standing in the nave didn't understand. So as the bread and wine was consecrated into Christ's body and blood, the words about corpus and others echoed and bounced and got all jumbled up. But the people connected the magical change up front with the words they thought they heard. And that's where the words hocus pocus come from. This week we are exploring all about miracles. And for the past few days, we've been looking at Mark 4 and 5, where the four types of miracles that Jesus did are placed side by side. First, we saw a miracle over nature in the stilling of the storm. Then we looked at an exorcism and the demons that went into the swine. Yesterday, we looked at a healing and the story of the woman with the hemorrhage. Today, we want to look at a miracle of resurrection as Jesus raises Jairus' daughter back to life. Here's the story. When Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd gathered around him, and he was by the sea. Then one of the leaders of the synagogue, named Jairus, came, and when he saw him, fell at his feet and begged him repeatedly, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her so that she may be made well and live." So he went with him. While he was still speaking, some people came from the leader's house to say, "Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further?" But overhearing what they said, Jesus said to the leader of the synagogue, "Do not fear, only believe." He allowed no one to follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the house of the leader of the synagogue, he saw a commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. When he had entered, he said to them, "Why do you make a commotion and weep? The child is not dead, but sleeping." And they laughed at him. Then he put them all outside and took the child's father and mother and those who were with him and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, get up." And immediately the girl got up and began to walk about. She was 12 years of age. At this they were overcome with amazement. He strictly ordered them that no one should know this, and told them to give her something to eat. Now, the first thing to know about this story is that it is interrupted by the story of the woman with the hemorrhage that we looked at yesterday. Just as Jesus agrees to go with Jairus, the woman touches him and is healed. But the delay of joy for her means disaster for Jairus. His daughter has died. Nevertheless, Jesus insists that they continue on. Another interesting thing to note is that Jairus was a leader of the synagogue. For him to come to Jesus risked his position of respect among those who questioned Jesus. Yet still he went, compelled by desperation and his love for his daughter. There's something else about Jairus, too. At this point, Jesus hasn't raised anyone from the dead. What possibly gave Jairus the thought that Jesus could do this? How could he dare hope? This is a pretty profound faith. When they arrive at Jairus' house, the professional mourners are there. This is an important detail we often overlook. In that day when someone died, it was common to hire professional mourners to raise a lamentation in the place. The point is that these people knew death when they saw it. The little girl isn't faking it. She's really dead. Jesus sends them away, earning their scorn and derision when he says she is only sleeping. Then Jesus takes the little girl's hand and says, "Talitha cum," which means, little girl, get up. It is interesting that Mark includes this detail about what Jesus actually said, the words that he actually used, and what they mean. Because you see, Mark does this to let us know that Jesus didn't use any magical words. There was no hocus pocus or abracadabra or special words. Jesus simply said, little girl, get up. This event isn't magic. It's miracle. Trapped in sin, trapped in death, Jesus says to us, little boy, little girl, get up. Jesus gives us life. It's a miracle of love and grace. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.